All right, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're joining us from. I'm here together with Rafael in this third iteration of the Truth About Sales. I'm Stefan Spijkers. I'm one of the co-founders of Navigatio.net. We help you with setting up your B2B funnel and running it automatically, but also with the human touch. More on that maybe later. I know you're here for Rafael and for the content, and I want to focus on that. So we already had two sessions on, well, sales, about mindset, about skills, and about cold calling, actually, which you can all view on YouTube. This session is also being recorded and it's going to be published on YouTube as well. So if you're joining us late, don't worry, we'll send the recording to you afterwards and you can always find it on YouTube and on LinkedIn. Today, we're going to talk about mindset and skills. So, Rafael, maybe quickly introduce yourself and walk us through the topic of today.
Sure. Thank you so much, Stefan. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here today. We will talk about one of my favorite topics. It's mindset. I'm Raphael. I'm from Switzerland. Mostly, I'm traveling or living outside of Switzerland. I'm an entrepreneur, success life mentor, and I'm loving helping others to unlock and unleash their true unlimited potential. So exactly, today we want to discuss why 95% of success depends on mindset and only 5% on skills. We have both prepared a guideline which we would like to share with you, the secret of success, mindset versus skills. Stefan, would you like to share with us the presentation?
Yeah, it's coming up. I'll make it full screen as well, Rafael.
Thank you. Well, in principle, success happens in the mind. Success is an attitude, it's a decision. How we see ourselves and our relationship with ourselves defines actually success. I mean, for everyone, success means something different. It is not really definable. I mean, for a person, success might be having a good customer conversation. It can be closing a deal, finding a new job, attracting an investor, securing a new apartment, or mastering a crisis. Success means changing the way we think by seeing success basically in everything and no failure. And this is exactly the key, and I would call it the master key. So basically, success is a state of mind. The way we think about ourselves and the world determines how successful we are. And ultimately, our thinking significantly influence that we want to create and who we are. I mean, we are what we think about all day. When we become basically what we thinking about, and by changing our thinking, we also change the outside world. So essentially, by the external world is always a reflection of the internal. So I would call it like a mirror. So by seeing ourselves in an energy field where we are responsible for our thinking, for our speaking, feeling, and acting, we can control our responses and view to the external world and see the external world as a learning field, basically. And when we not longer think negatively, like, I mean, why is this happening to me? I have no success. It isn't working. It's difficult. I don't deserve it. I can't do it. I'm not successful. This is then basically a scarcity mindset. And by thinking negatively of the view of challenging as a problem, and life becomes a constant struggle where we blame others in our environmentally and hold basically a victim mentality. Let's come quickly to the key takeaway. Success is a state of mind. So, well, basically, um, we see life as a learning field, right? So we see the journey as the goal in our life and focusing not just on the end goal, but on the process in the moment. And we must enjoy the journey toward our goal and have fun and joy with it while removing pressure and stress. Because what happens if we pressure? Counter pressure. What happens if we under stress? More stress we are attracting. So we must give ourselves time to grow through the process and to mature. And when we realize that there is no failure, only experience, we eliminating certain negative words from our vocabulary by positively shaping our subconscious. And this I'm going to show you here. So basically here it's called mindset versus skills. Here in this diagram, I have illustrate how significant our mindset is compared to the small part of our skills, which is, in my opinion, only 5%. And why is it? I mean, first of all, ultimately, our mindset is equivalent to our consciousness, our creative consciousness mind, which shapes our daily lives, how we think, how we speak, how we act, and how we feel, what we think, and this shapes our conscious mind and what we experience, the circumstances, the events in our life. And when we think positively and believe in success, ultimately the outcome affects our entire life and our abilities, and therefore the best investment in ourselves, especially in our mindset. We think roughly, I made a research, approximately 60,000 thoughts every day, of which over 95% are negatively and unconsciously, and only 5% are conscious. So no matter how good our skills are, success cannot be manifested if we block it with negatively thoughts or self-talk or negative beliefs and subconscious patterns. So basically, I would call them like the hidden files. So thinking and acting the way success, if we want to be successful in something, we start with an idea. When we make the decision in our mind that we can achieve it. So basically, when can we achieve it? If you can't believe in what you achieve, how can someone else believe in it? So basically, you are unstoppable. If you believe in yourself, you can achieve anything. That gives you then ultimately the strength and the motivation to start, knowing that there is no mistakes, only experience, and that success is built on failures. I mean, this is crucial. I've learned that there is no success without making failures, and you will not longer be afraid also to leave your comfort zone and make mistakes, terribly training your mindset in a way of success and prosperity consciousness. So the best investment is definitely in your mindset and then in your skills. I will move quickly to another slide. Here we are, exactly. So of course, I mean, skills are definitely important. They are needed for success, but without the right mindset, success cannot manifest it. So we are always the only person standing in our way. So when I founded my company, for example, for a few years ago, and I didn't know really what I wanted to do, but I had some creative ideas, right? So the belief of the becoming self-employment, being financial free, traveling, and being free, that was basically the seed was already planted in my subconscious mind, and the hunger to achieve more and to be successful was there. So the foundation was basically stable, and upon which success could be built was the fundament. And then when the foundation is solid, it cannot collapse, even if stormy or difficult times. And when we humans always want kind of a like guarantee in life that something will work out, and we want to avoid risk, right? But there is no guarantee or security, basically. I mean, there is only your mindset that you can take from you. And if you were to lose, I mean, if you were to lose everything today and start from scratch, let's predict, you would still have your knowledge and the right mindset to become successful again. Stefan, would you like to share the other slide of foundation?
Yes, hold on.
Yes. So before my transformation, it was like before I used my mindset. Basically, I saw life as constant, as a endless struggle, and putting everything under pressure and stress instead of power. Like I attracted things I didn't want it. Like nothing worked. I was vibrating. We had this in the last webinar, in a low frequency, like fear, panic, pressure, worry, doubt, and lack of self confidence. And the essence, I was stuck in this vibration, like that, in the matrix and the system what wants to be in. So basically, most people operate at these low frequencies. So approximately 95% of people think about, as I mentioned just now, 60,000 thoughts each day, and 95% of them are negative. So with only 10% positive, is essential. We attract what we are thinking all day, and all that things that didn't work over the years. And the best thing, what even happened to me at least, was I first had to understand what doesn't work to know what works. So basically, again, success is built on failure. And the biggest lesson for me was by changing the way I was thinking, my entire life could change. And therefore, reprogramming the subconscious mind and the conscious mind, dissolving and releasing all negative beliefs, and letting go of the subconscious pattern and blockage that we have often take also since childhood is crucial. And anyway, through so the years where things didn't work out, I mean, I'm maintained the belief in myself, and that was trust, patience, and keep going and not giving up. And having this iron will, not no matter how hopeless the situation seem externally. So in principle, the foundation, if you can see that here in this slide, had already been laid. So belief, trust, patience, and the right intention and intentions. And the foundation is not stable enough, everything built on it will soon or later collapse. So that's why a lot of people, when they ask me about, yeah, how did you do it, or what would you recommend, I always say, okay, um, start from the stretch, start from the foundation. Like, how is your foundation today? How is your belief system? How is your trust? I mean, first of all, in yourself, what is your intention? Is your intention to just earn fast money, to become rich, or is it like a serving mentality? How strong is your belief in yourself? Like those fundament needs to be stable enough. And nowadays we see very often this fundament is not stable enough. And if the fundament is not stable enough, then it will collapse like a cart house. Basically, if we see this as a picture in a house, right, where you have in America, sometimes you have this fundament where a house is built on wood, and then a storm comes and it will all be destroyed, right? So the fundament is not stable enough, and everything what you build over the years can collapse when it's hard of hard comes and some struggle or circumstances come you were not expected.
Yeah. Raphael, I like the fact that it is all focused on the you, right? These are all things you can control yourself, right? This is something you can think of, write down, work on yourself. It is it does help to have a coach or have someone guide you, obviously. But I do think that this is all things you can control, right? So if you look at these zones of influence and zones of control, right, many things you cannot control, but you can control your reaction to these outside pressures, and you can control the foundation here that you are showing with the pyramid here, from intention and willpower to, in the end, belief. And I like that a lot. It's something you can work on.
Yeah, I mean, we cannot control a lot of things, but we can control what we think, what we say, how we feel, and how we act. So by controlling what we are thinking, if we're starting from this, is what do I think every day about? Because most of the time we think unconsciously, and on top of them unconsciously negative. And if we have the skills of, for example, communication good, or being in in some level, in some area, an expert, but have a negative belief system, or we feel inside insecure or unhappy, we act then in the area where we have the skill, um, not the way we should, because we attract then the things we are afraid of, right? So basically, by controlling how we're talking and having built a mindset of abundance, that we say, hey, I see the way as a goal and not the goal itself. I allow myself to do mistakes. It's fine to do mistakes. I don't define or blame others for my failure, or not use this word as failure as an experience. To
Yeah.
say, hey, everything happens for me, not against me. And if we shape our mindset to this kind of consciousness, because I mean, first of all, it needs to go in your unconscious mind, because our unconscious mind controls our life to 95%. What we do in a daily base with our conscious mind is basically, um, yeah, the the things we created in the past with our belief system and our unconscious mind. So that's why I say, if you want to change your life, then change the way you think and feel, and then therefore act. And this is also the things you as an individual person, you can control. And if you have this mentality of saying, I'm the creator, I can do something, I work on myself, on my negative patterns. And there are challenges, there will be always challenging. You don't know when. It can be tomorrow, it can be in 2 weeks, it can be in 2 years. uh, I always say everyone blooms at different times, right? So sometimes you can give yourself, or you should give yourself time to grow. And this, if you see like this mountain in front of you, and you say, okay, this is where I want to go, I have the direction, but it looks very, very big, like I don't know where to start, which is the easiest way to go, then I would always say, I mean, we both know it, because we went through it, go step by step. So
Yeah.
Rome was
And
not built in one
and
day. So
the
things,
obstacle is the way, right? So it's
yeah,
the whole journey is indeed the experience. The whole life is not about the goal in that sense. It's about the journey you're taking towards it, and maybe the people you are with on that journey. Maybe back to mindset, Rafael, and your own insights or your own trigger for going into this exploration yourselves and finding resources, finding coaches. How did that come about, if you're willing to share?
sure, yeah. I mean, first of all, I taught myself a lot by myself. So I learned a lot through the process. I was always in the past, for a few years before I used my mindset, how I use my mindset today, I was always looking for this person who has these answers for me, because sometimes I didn't know which direction I should go. Uh, but I remember coming back to when I opened my company. I had this vision, I had this goal, I had this hunger inside myself. As my wife always said, like, you have this hunger, like you want to do something, um, to become someone, to become more successful. Sometimes you need to take risk. You need to go out of the comfort zone to the unknown thing, even if it's if it makes you afraid. You don't know what it will hold in the end for you, right? But again, if you see it not as an yeah, it was a wrong decision, or why I have done this, or why I could choose another way, I could have done another decisions. You never know it, right? It's the process. So by the process, you will understand what has worked and what hasn't worked out. And I mean, also, I was trying to find my calling in life, right? Which a lot of people, I guess, trying to find, with
I'm
their
still
talent,
searching.
their gifts, their skills. I mean, we trying, and this is or this is already enough. And sometimes, um many things, when I opened the company, right? And I opened the company, and I put a few thousand euros on it, and I didn't have a business plan. I had no idea what I want to do, but I had this goal. And then I tried different things, because I couldn't tell myself, okay, now I'm this person, I have this skills, and I know what I exactly want, and this is my business plan, and this is the people I trust. Because to find people you trust, it's also one of the most difficult things. So if you trust yourself first and believe in yourself, and you know the way you go, and you will understand, that something might be not for you. And then coming back to this foundation which we just now showed you to you, intention. My intention in the past was that I wanted to earn money back in the days when I was a little bit younger. I mean, I'm still young, but anyway, um, to earn money. Yeah, but what does it mean to earn money, right? Earning money is not specific enough. What is your intention? And and, and then you have to understand, okay, this kind of projects are doing is this doesn't help me, or this is not for me the right thing to do. So I should do something where I can implement my skills, my gifts, my talents, which I got when we came here. So and then you succeed on that, because money is important, but not money alone doesn't make you happy. It's also the
Hmm.
process. And if I see myself today and look backwards and say to see all my challenges, then I'm thinking, my God, I'm thankful for this challenging. There's also kind of a perspective how you see it, instead of blaming yourself or blaming others and say, oh, it hasn't worked out, or because of this and this situation, and you take responsibility and you go away from this victim position. You say, hey, I'm super happy for all these things that happened, because it taught me a lot. Because
Hmm.
if we grow up and everything would work perfectly, we wouldn't have any mistake, any challenges, then there is no growth. So I see it always like two fields: my energy field, where I can control my thoughts, my feelings, how I act on things, um, how I talk, and then the learn field outside of
Hmm.
me, which I cannot control. And if you see it and you go out and you see everything as a learning, then you can handle difficult situations easier, I think.
But it is, I mean, the whole searching for a goal is in itself again a process, right? It's again not the end goal to have to find the end goal, right? It's a process to find that end goal and keep tuning and tweaking and experiencing and learning what works, what doesn't work, what feels good, what brings you energy. It's sort of a recursive application of the process. You will, I mean, maybe you'll never find the goal, but you keep working towards that, finding that goal, and applying your skills and your mindset towards achieving that goal. Maybe one more thing about the mindset thing. A thought that it triggered is, I know that in science, like emotions are like anger or fear, right? These baseline emotions, we all have them, right? These are primal emotions. You explain them away by the sort of newer parts of your brain, like the prefrontal cortex, which is a evolutionary recent development, relatively recent, of course. But the baseline emotion is the same whether it is sort of a negative emotion, like it's arousal, right? You're excited, but the prefrontal cortex explains it as negative or as positive, right? So you can basically reinterpret that emotion or reinterpret that feeling that you have by yourself. Like it's about the mindset again, right? And even though the biological underpinnings are the same, it's it's the mindset that explains it either positively and sees it as a learning experience, or as a positive experience in total, or sees it as a threat, a fear, anger, disappointment, judgment, all these negative, I think you called it frequencies or vibrations earlier in the call and in the previous session we had. It all ties together in the end, but it's the yeah, it's you giving that meaning to it, right? It's the man in the machine that is giving the interpretation to the feeling. Knowing that you can reinterpret your own feelings. It's not always easy. Is I think a very powerful gift to yourself to really explore that and try that and practice that. It's not something that comes naturally, I would say. It's something you have to learn and experience and yeah, go back and see all your failures as learning experiences is not easy. It's something you have to come back to time and time again.
Yeah, because the society um, wouldn't call it in this way. I would say in the society we are taught since we are a child, um, don't do that, don't do, you have to think in a specific way. They put you in a system basically where you find, so if you go against the swarm, then you yeah
You're
you doesn't
punished. Yeah.
picture anymore, you get punished, it's not allowed to do mistakes, it's not allowed to think differently than others, and this, of course, this is the first, especially the first 7 years, what made us, what shaped our person as we are today. So I would call it also the inner child from us needs to find their home. So basically, sometimes if we are grown up people, we have still this inside inner child that hasn't find their home, because from the um, way we grow up differently, I would call it. And then we have a belief system, and then we see the world as we see it. And then if we work on that topic on ourselves, then we realize, okay, what am I have for power here? Like, why I was not taught that in school. So everything what I learned that made me successful, I have learned in school. That is not taught in school, in my opinion. So everything I taught myself in this matter. But of course, there are different kind of tools you can use, like manifestation, etc. How does manifestation work? So I mean, talking about a mindset, right? I mean, everything
Hmm.
happens in the mind. If you want to create something, you have first an idea, then you develop this idea, right? So if you understand, when you eating, taking food to you, you always validate which kind of food is good for me and which not. And sometimes your body react differently, and you see, okay, this kind of food is doesn't for me, doesn't fit. I don't feel good with it. And the same is with thoughts or with information source. If we think nonstop and we don't validate enough what kind of food I would take into my brain, basically, and not make this hygienic of my thoughts sometimes, um, then we think maybe in a way we should not think and act maybe as we don't act, right? And I mean, coming back from your what you just now mentioned with this low frequency, right? I mean, those negative feelings are nothing bad, I would say. I mean, they serve us, right? If we're afraid, then our this emotion tell us, hey, be careful here, and try to protect us. Sometimes they serve us, and sometimes they hold us back. So we can, it's not that to avoid negative emotions. I mean, it's the opposite. They are here, but it's how we handle them, you know. So and this is how we, if we respect them and say, okay, they have their reason why they're here, but in this matter they're not serve me. So
Yeah, I mean, and it makes sense, right? So when you, I don't know, when you're walking through the savannah and there's a lion, there's a reason to be scared and run away from the lion, right? But I
yeah,
think in current society, it's very, there are very many, I would say, mental lions or more. I mean, a physical lion can hurt you, but a mental idea usually is unable to really hurt you, and it's more you're being scared and making yourself get scared by ideas, not so much real problems or real fears or real risks. Right? That's a lion. A real life lion is risky. You shouldn't touch that. But
I mean, everything is
most,
risk, right? Yeah.
yeah. Um,
If you open a company today, you have something in mind and you want to create something, maybe coming also back to this frame of finding your calling, right? I mean, finding your calling in a matter of what do you want to do, what is your purpose, what is your mission. I mean, if you want to be an employee, this is absolutely fine, because it needs to be employees, but there are also entrepreneurs, but in the end, I would call ourselves, each individual, as their own entrepreneur in their own life. So we all creators, but the message should be like, first of all, like, what I want to create, or do I want to create something? It's fine, right? What makes me happy? Like, to live on this earth, to be a need for the society. What can I give back? Or am I more like the ego related thinking, mind of stake, and say, hey, I just take and don't want to give something? This is also something by learning by the process. And what I also learned is sometimes all those things, they're really powerful. There's really powerful stuff here we're talking about, and sometimes, and I understand this, if it's in the beginning, it might be a little bit confusing. Like, where do I start? How do I start? Right? Like, how going to do it? Um, the most thing is, and I think you realize it as well, when you talk about certain thing about people, it might be they know everything already. They say, "Oh, I know everything. It's fine. Yeah, you taught me this. I know it." But there's a difference by knowing and doing it, but in a daily life, like consistency, you know. And this is the challenge to do it,
Yeah.
to
I think,
do an action.
getting back to sort of the negative emotions and using negative emotions, I, I think the problem of society in one way is also that we have some heroes in our society that use negative emotions to get ahead, right? Or that use fear or use anger to get what they want, and they become hugely outwardly successful because of that. But internally, they're probably still scared or feel rejected or feel experience all these negative emotions, even though maybe society sees them as successful. How do you see that?
Yeah, we had this, I think, in a previous webinar also,
Yeah.
this topic. I think, in my opinion, look, we don't know if we talk now about unfairness, right? I would say like unfair, like why people are using this power negative. I mean, you can use this tool of your mindset, let's call it, in a negative way or in a positive way. What you will it's like a law. We don't have to create those laws. They are existing. There are law of lies of life. I mean, like if you play a game, there are rules. If you follow the rules, you will win the game. And this is also of the rule of lives. Everything you give, you get. Don't wish no one that what you also don't want that they wish to you. So there's simple basically laws. And you're coming back to this foundation intention. What is your intention? If your intention, because if you is your intention is positive and it's serving and it's good and it helps people and it helps the planet, for example, there will come positive back. But if the intention is wrong, ego related, so I want to fill my pocket with money, I want to get power and use it negatively, there is no way sooner or later it will break this card house. We don't know when. It's also not our task to blame and to judge, because they have their without light there's no dark, without dark there's no light, so it has to be there basically. That's my opinion, because it's like a learning process for each, maybe nation, for each individual person. So but you know if we take if we talk like for to a if we talk about a person who has the ambitious to earn a lot of money and go over himself, and is then there once and has then the amount of money he wanted and he reached it. Maybe this person is sick in this time because he overcome his yeah his soul, his body, his spirit, right? And was too stressful, losing his wife or some certain different things, so there's always a price you pay. So
Yeah.
uh,
I also think that it's very difficult to find yes, you see the examples that are successful with their negative emotions and negative approach, but you don't know what they're you know
and
they're successful, but how many people failed using that approach, right? So you see the successes, obviously, but how many people failed miserably and have a bad life because of using this approach versus people that are maybe not as negative or don't use those low frequency emotions to get what they want, who might have a very much higher success rate in getting what they want out of life. Maybe not as a high variance or not as highly successful as the negative emotion people. Probably no. This is something to research maybe for another topic. But you don't see the graveyard, right? You don't see the angry people that have totally burned out and ended up somewhere else. You do see the people that become successful and become presidents of countries, right? So that is, I think, sort of the problem here as well. You don't see the graveyard basically of people not being successful. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean everyone has their own journey, their own I would call it like soul mission. Like everyone has their own way to go, and if you go against it, so for example, if I say, okay, my life contract, I would call it like is in this direction that feels in a way of my feelings and emotions good. I like it. It feels right. I'm in the right direction. So you can't not not succeed. You will succeed because it feels. But if you feel and on the way there is something misleading, I not feel in the right path, in the wrong direction, I feel not good, I feel stressed, then you already have the answer in yourself, and what shows you in a voice basically you are on the wrong way. So don't go this direction any further because it will hurt you, right?
But how do you find the right path, Raphael? How do you explore the right solutions to the right mission, basically?
First of all, by going it, by going into the unknown, by going out of the comfort zone, by going step after step, by being 1% every day better, and by just trying, and by and doing things that are aligned with your soul, body, and spirit. What I mean, like in combination, how you feel, who I am, that it fits to you, that you can use your skills, that you feel be appreciated. I mean, um, if you see in a way there are obstacles, that is normal, it's fine. This is also how we overcome this obstacle, right? So therefore, I would recommend helpful is very much affirmation that your subunconscious mind accept and can believe, right? The self talk mantras, I would call it. Uh, but you already see yourself. So if I would from my point of view, um, when I was younger and I didn't know why I was not in the right, I wanted to find my calling so much, and I was trying for it very hard and searching for it. And then I realized, I mean, if I today I realized when I look back, it was just not the right timing. So it was just not the right timing for me. Now, a few years later, I found my calling. So now but I needed to go this journey, this way, to understand who I am, what I have to change, how I think. So I didn't know this powerful stuff we're talking right now a few years ago. So then from my point of view, then understandable, and I say, okay, obviously I couldn't find my calling back in the days. Obviously I attracted the wrong people, maybe the wrong partner, because I was in a certain state of mind. Today I'm another state of mind. So that's why I attract different things. So sometimes you have this momentum when you say, today when I have business meetings, or I feel I have a different positivity. I feel energetically. I see differently, I talk differently, I think differently. People realize that your outside world change. And then in the past, you define it and you say, this is unbelievable how you see then the things. And this is small. It's a small. It seems like to be a small thing, but has a huge impact. And I
But I
think,
mean,
yeah, sorry.
no, no, no. I mean, you have found your calling, or at least the current version of your calling. I think it's finding that calling and tweaking that calling is a journey in and of itself. It's life's journey in a way. Like it's maybe a different thing every time. The, you say keep trying things, and you'll know when you have found it, or when you have found the current calling that you wish to pursue. Are there any specific tips or hints you want to give to people who are searching? What should they do? What tips can you give them?
um, for people who are looking for their journey in life, or for their real calling, starts all the time, always from the inside. If you ask yourself, I mean, there are simple questions you can ask yourself. Does this what I do right now make me happy and fulfilled? If you ask people what they want, 99% of people, they cannot give you a clear answer. They know always what they don't want, but they don't know what they want. So by asking yourself first, what do I really want? Does this make me happy, what I'm doing right now? What I'm capable of, what I want in life? This is the first questions I would say in a state where things can already change by not just living like a robot from one to do to another, you know. So sometimes we need to stop and say, okay, what I'm doing here, is it really what I want? Does it really make me happy, or do I want to prove something to someone or to the society, you know, or to the community? But does it make me myself happy? And
Yeah.
this is a first big step I would do, and then I would see, okay, I have certain skills now, okay, and I mentioned it earlier before. I start now to seeing my mindset skills and my skills. I would call it like my normal daily skills where I can develop, or which I have developed. And by investing in my mindset, um, you will move, definitely into the right direction by going by going into the right journey. And then there's this money thing. Obviously, people have often a job because to pay their bills. It's like a circle, right? So they have to work that they can pay their bills, and it's a circle like all the time. So the question is like, can you,
Break
if
the
you
circle. Yeah.
break the circle, how you can break the circle? So I think by I would say giving yourself time. Change doesn't Massive change doesn't happen overnight. So I think it's the same with success. Success doesn't happen overnight. So success is a decision you make. I want to be successful. I am successful. I am successful in everything what I'm doing, or try it at least.
But it's, I mean, people always underestimate the things they can do in a year, right? Or even in a month. They
Yes,
always overestimate. Let's just speak for myself. I overestimate what I can do in a day, but I underestimate what I can do in a month or in a year.
same.
And that's the same with the mindset thing as well. Like, and I think that the tip you're giving is super interesting, where it's just keep trying new things and stay in tune with your own feeling, right? So experience mindfully what you're doing and experience what it does to you, how it feels.
Yeah.
And don't be hard on yourself if you don't find it right away, if you don't find it within a week or a month or maybe even in a year. It is a journey. I think very few people have found, let's say I haven't even found it myself. For me, it's also a learning journey where I try new things every, well, maybe not every day, but at least every week or every month. And that's part of it. I think also being kind to yourself and accepting that it takes time and that you don't find it right away and that it, yeah, might not be the best version of yourself right now, working towards that final goal. That's also fine. It's going to take many winding paths up that mountain, right? It's not a
Also,
straight line.
absolutely, it's not a straight
Yeah.
line. And I think again, using the right way of thinking, you will attract the right circumstances. So if you think in a way of, I cannot find the right job, it's difficult for me. How gonna do it? Um, I won't find my partner. This is all negative beliefs because they are not true. I mean, for you they're true, right? In this moment because of your previous experience. But if you keep, I mean, the question is, what do we attract when we think like that? If you go
Yeah.
to a meeting and you are in a stack of lag and you want to close this deal, for example, right? And you put pressure on you put pressure on the customer, you put pressure on everyone, right? So the outcome cannot be really positive. So it's really easy if you think it in this way. When you feel today not so positive, and you have to do a really big decision, or you want to do something really important, um, then the question is, okay, can you really attract the real outcome you want with the current frequency I'm swinging, or do I have to change it? And you can change it by giving yourself the space to feel this emotion right now, to not avoid it, you know, and say, oh, I feel now angry or disappointed or frustrated. Then it's absolutely fine to feel this, as long as you not feel it, you get depressive from it, right? Because some things might not work, and that's why I think if you If you walk in with your mindset and let your emotions be and say, okay, um, I give myself for myself. It helps very often by just doing two things. Number one is sometimes I would call it like meditation. In a meditation where I just give myself the space not to think. This helps me really much. The other aspect is if I want something, I try to visualize in a quiet moment how I would like to have this outcome, how I imagine itself, how I want it. And then again, if you believe it and you say, okay, I have a very important meeting with, for example, investors, and I want that they invest in my product, for example, or I have a date and I want that the date will be amazing. So then if you go to this creator mindset and say, okay, I can do it because I'm responsible. No one can hold me back to being successful. It's only
Mhm.
myself. There is no
It's-
outside power, like there's no one against me. Life is not against me. The people not against me. Everyone wants that I'm succeed. Then and I visualize it and say, okay, I feel now the feeling of having it already. Like I believe in it. And then this thoughts coming of mistrust of, oh, maybe it works or maybe not. Can it work? This warriors. Then
But
you will attract the situation that it might not work. And this is what
but
I really taught before, the foundation of being patient, because good things takes time. It's like this, the right intention, why I want to do it, trust in yourself, and believe.
but Rafael, so you do all this, right? You do all the preparation, you visualize, you think about how you're internally aligned to get whatever you want or you get to your goal. But then you go in that date or you go to that investor meeting and it goes horribly wrong. And based on what you've just shared, then you only have yourself to blame, right? It's on you. It's because of you not preparing good enough or not responding correctly to whatever happened during the date or during the meeting. How do you deal with that disappointment?
First of all, I would not say I would blame myself,
Hmm.
because maybe it was my ego what it wanted, but it was maybe not serving my real self that it really helped me for my life, in my life journey. So this can be that. This can be that. It can be that something better will pop out. Or you need to try again and again and again. Because I mean, I had the same question when I tried different kind of project and nothing worked out. And now I understand. Okay, and say, obviously it hasn't worked out because thanks God it hasn't worked out, because these people now, if I see it back, I wouldn't trust them today. It didn't fit to me. It was a project where that could fit with my skills, or I not feel comfortable. Thanks God, it was like that. So kind of that, or it can just be that you didn't want it enough. Because I believe if you really want something in your life, you will get it, no matter when. But you will. I believe it. But if you not trust the process, or you not trust yourself that you really can do it, you're not confident enough, you worried, then you attracting it, because you attract what you're afraid of. This is also kind of a
Hmm.
law. That's why I always say be careful what you wish, because it might come true.
Be careful what you're thinking about being scared of because you will get what you're scared of. Yeah. Okay. Um, Maybe, I mean, you say it's 5% skills and 95% it's mindset, right? Um, do you need like a baseline of skills? Is there sort of what steps can people take from a skill perspective or even mindset perspective if they want to get started on this journey?
um it helped me tremendously by continuously learning all the time, but to create a new skill, um, to unlock your potential. and the skill of your mindset, the way how you think. So continuously learning, to take learning as a hobby, basically, I would say. To not put yourself over someone else and say, "Oh, I know everything already," and point with the finger of them and say, "I know it better than you." So always be open and learning. And then by becoming really an expert in your field, I think the only way is by repeating, repeating, repeating until your subconscious mind understand it, like without
Yeah.
thinking about it. So it's like it's an mechanismus, yeah. So automatically it happens.
Automatically close the deal, or uh, have a great date, or automatically have a good life. That would be nice.
Yeah. And being thankful and grateful, I would also call it. This is a very important aspect because we attract always what we are grateful and thankful of, more of that. And sometimes we want all the time extremely much, but forget to look back and say, okay, what I already, who I became, what I achieved already, and appreciate yourself and say, yeah, I'm thankful to myself, to who I became. Like I I'm grateful for my life, for already what I have. To see the small, to be grateful about small things, not always about great big things.
Yeah. Maybe regarding the sort of dealing with failures, right, or dealing with mistakes. I think it touches, just to revisit that topic again, because I think, yes, right, you have to prepare as good as possible as you can, and you have to do your best to be aligned personally with the thing you want, right, or the thing you want to get out of that meeting, or out of that date, or out of that whatever. But it's also, there are of course things you cannot control, right? And then the only thing you can control is what you call the learning zone. Like, then maybe this part was in the learning zone, and that is part of the learning. Is that this was yeah, not meant to be part of the controlled zone, and something you had to just learn from, instead of something you were able to control.
Yeah, absolute.
Maybe, Rafael, if people want to take that first next step towards that more fulfilled life, or to discover their end goal, where can they start?
Well, they can find us online on our website. We will anyway reach out to you and send you the recording, and you're welcome to book a call with us, with me and Stefan, and we can analyze your challenges and your goals, and then we can see if it's a fit. Then we can maybe walk individual with you, and also we are planning to build a new community group, which will take place in January or February,
Yeah.
and there we also welcome to join. We will also send you that link, and there we will all talk about sales, also cold calls, um, yeah, outreach strategies, and of course, mindset that aligns with
I think,
all of the success.
yeah, yeah, and I think it's a great time of the year, right? It's the time of the year to reflect and look back and be grateful. It's also the time of the year to make plans for the new year. So when something has sparked you during this conversation, or something Rafael shared today that you think is valuable, take that with you into the coming holidays, and take that with you maybe in your New Year's resolutions, to be more mindful, be more grateful, think about what you really want out of life, what your goals really are, and not just the symptoms of that goal, like to be rich or to have a successful life, but also why do you want to have that successful life. Take those thoughts into the coming weeks, and maybe into the new year, and maybe we are part of that journey. You can find us on LinkedIn. You can find us on the website navigatio.net. And as Rafael said, we're building a community, so you'll probably find us on that community as well. We'll share the recording, we'll share the link to that community as well with you. And I would say, have a good coming days, and be thankful in the coming few weeks. Rafael, maybe any final thoughts you would like to share?
Stay positive. I wish you already a happy new year. Start fresh with a strong mindset into new years, and just remember, winners are recognized at the start.
Okay, well, with those closing thoughts, Rafael, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you having me, Stefan.
Thanks for the audience for staying with us today, and hopefully see you in the new year with our new sessions, because we will continue with these sessions for sure, and maybe see you in one of our communities. So hope to see you then.